legends, and welcome to Zwifty Chat. Hello, legends, and welcome to Zwift Chat, episode 16. I don't think this is going out, Ben. Oh yeah, I think it is. Maybe it is. I'm just going to end studio mode. It's too confusing. Too confusing. Oh, it's great to be back in Zwifty Chat land. I haven't been feeling well, but I'm feeling magnificent now. And what a week! What a week in the world of Zwift. I think it's the biggest week since, I don't know, 2020. It's absolutely enormous. Stratospheric, gigantuan changes have been taking place here, and we will go through it all with you, taking your views and probably ignoring them because we know all the stuff. And not only that, but we have the magnificent, the one and only, the legend that is Miguel Ortiz. Woo!
Oh my god!
Welcome, Miguel. How you doing, man?
Gonna turn me from brown to copper, making me blush.
How you doing, dude?
Excited to be here.
Well,
big fan of the show.
Well, everyone's a big fan of you. You get everywhere. You're everywhere. Whenever I see you, like
I do my best. I do my best. It is. I feel like that outside of my regular job is a full-time job, keeping up with everybody's videos and commenting and making sure that I put in the effort to be a part of the community and not just an observer from the outside.
You certainly are. You're a central part. The central part. You're on the cog, the keystone that keeps it all together now, I would say. And I forgot your name for a second there. Ben Pitts, how you doing, dude? I like your inverse Polish flag wall.
Yes, I was trying to work out how I was going to frame myself in it. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
you
like a
wouldn't want
higher,
it. You wouldn't
lower,
want it
but
to be half through your face, would you? That red line. That would be a bit weird, I suppose.
yeah, yeah, it's very, very difficult. It was giving me OCD last night when I was trying to set it up because I've also got my monitor here, and it can't quite get a straight line. Otherwise, this line's not straight. It was too much. I was like, no, don't worry about it. Anyway, hello everyone.
And
Welcome to the stream.
we've got a lively chat already. We've got blimey. We've got Troy. We've got Miguel. Oh, you're here and there. Christian. Christian.
Half a lower the chat, Miguel.
Troy. Dwayne. Hello. Alex Swifter. Gerben. Dave Beachy. Thomas Sorensen seems particularly pleased that you're here. Eric. Kerry, and that's it. Oh no, Steph and Mark. Blimey!
You don't miss anyone. Yeah.
And God, I'm a little bit prepared today as well, which is it's such a monumental week that I'm a little bit prepared, which I thought I should be.
That reminds me, I've got that the actual itinerary up. I'm going to put it up on my screen now so that I don't jump over the top of you and talk about stuff before we should.
So this was the potential itinerary. So welcome, legends, and welcome indeed. Gerben's saying that Miguel's already upgraded to the SLA to max level. You've been Zwifted so much.
That's the goal.
Yeah, I bet. Right. Yeah, so welcome, legends. So welcome, including Miguel. We'll talk a bit about Miguel. Well, we might talk a lot about Miguel. I think this is going to be a mammoth show. I think we're going to be here for like 12 hours going through all the stuff that we've got. So strap yourselves in.
I told you I've already got my scene for when I want to go to the toilet.
Right, we've got to do all the garage stuff. Hopefully people know about it, because I know I do know. I know a bit about it. We're not going to talk about Zwift games very much because I couldn't find the leaderboard very easily, and we'll talk about Josh and how brilliant he is. Ben, I forgot to mention, you've gone viral. Loads of people have been watching you, been staring at you on the internet, looking at you, listening to what you say.
It is a bit intimidating when you make a video and then everyone's looking at what you do. Because when I made the video, I was like, oh, I should mention this and mention this, but it's only so much you can put in a video before it's 2 hours long.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. We're just covering the itinerary. Is that I led a meeting yesterday, and there was about 12 items on the agenda, and we only got through 2. It's like, oh my God, I'm so rubbish. I hate myself. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to go for 12 hours. So we'll just cover stuff once. So when we're going through the itinerary, we're just going to mention what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about it, okay? Right. And then getting back into Zwifting, I thought this would be the theme for the latter 3 hours of the video. We talk about what's it like to get back into Zwifting. We've all had our time off for various reasons, and we've all had to get back into it, which I think we all want to and have done to lesser or greater degrees. And our layoffs have been, smaller or larger, bigger or smaller. Sorry, I'm going to use up time just repeating words in different ways. Jonathan Huber's here. Carl Radham's here. Wow, what a stream. I didn't finish the itinerary. And then Halo bikes, and I've done a quiz, and it's kind of easy until it's not. So like a sort of after party quiz, I would say.
I've got a steep climb.
Yeah, gets harder again.
Is it the Ven top or is it Box Hill?
It's just a Box Hill type end. It's not a. I always think it's easy because I know the answers. Right. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about?
Oh, I can pop up the. So we're talking about the garages, but I'll just show the possum that I was been dealing with last night.
Yeah, let's see that. This was in Ben's garage. He had a proper possum.
I've got a video of a spider, but I didn't want to scare off the viewership. So this is a possum.
Yeah,
that looks infinitely cuter than what we have in the United States, by the way. Like that looks like it could be someone's pet versus what we have, which
I was showing you guys earlier, and you're like, "Is that your pet?" I was like, "No, I don't keep possums as pets." So I can show him this for you. So this is those watching. This is his little channel that he tries to, or she tries to get through from one side of the shed to the other, out to the house, up through the trees. And so it's a constant battle to try and keep everything on the roof secured, because I've got a lot of stuff lining the roof, because it's just a garage, to stop the noise echoing in this place. Because obviously I try and do the sound as well as I can and spend a lot of time putting stuff back up again. So that was my little story for the day.
Well, it couldn't be much more Australia unless you had a herd of
herd of animals,
a herd of kangaroos like jumping through the podcast.
I kept the door shut so the kangaroo can't hop in.
And a bit of casual racism as well. That would just sorry, I don't.
Yeah, let's not go that way. Bloody New Zealanders.
Sorry to diss the Australians, but they haven't been very nice to me recently. Screw you, Australia.
What sport are we beating you at the moment?
No, not sport. Let's keep away from that. Lee Thompson's here. JD's here. Hey, JD. Do you know JD offered to send me an ECG through the post. He had it all packaged up, and he was going to send it to me free of charge. And then the post office didn't let him send it, or the Canadian equivalent of the post office, because it's got lithium battery in it. And they were like, "No, you'll bring down the airplane."
So you can't. It must have, surely as an ECG battery, it'd be tiny.
Yeah, it's just pretty weird, isn't it? But they also, whenever I used to watch quite a lot of those airline pilot videos. It's a good niche area of YouTube I used to be into before I started exercising. And there was always batteries. I was carrying a cargo full of batteries and just exploded or something. But yeah, what you wouldn't have thought one would go so far. Well,
I've actually got my pilot's license, so it's actually doesn't really affect. It doesn't affect the instruments at all. It's Well, not talking about the mobile phones with the batteries. I'm not sure why they don't let them on LiPo. So basically LiPo, they're the ones that are dangerous ones. So I don't think that, I'm sure an ECG battery, it's not going to be very volatile. It's not the sort of thing you can drop on the ground and set fire to everything. So
Ben,
I think
there's
a lot
to
of
take my case to the Canadian Postal Service. Immediately.
But
you can be my advocate. You can be my advocate. Go on.
If you had a Polar H10 like I do, Rob, you can actually use that as an ECG device.
Everyone keeps saying this, and actually, I'm getting a proper one, like an NHS one on Tuesday, 24 hours. Yeah. They're going to have a look at my heart, but it feels much better. My son's got an Apple Watch, and he hasn't used it for 6 months. And then I said, "Oh, do you mind if I wear it for a day to check out my irregular heart rhythm?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I charged it up, and he was like, "Oh, now that you've charged it up, I quite fancy wearing it myself."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, go on then. Fair enough.
It's almost dangerous putting one of those on while watching it. So in the chat, Arctic Zwifter said his Zwift plays had to be sent by boat from the US to Norway.
What?
Which is my Zwift plays got sent. Peter McMullen sent them from England via the plane. So I'm lucky the plane didn't explode.
Right. We're already 12 minutes in. We haven't even started.
Yeah.
This is how my meeting's gone.
So Miguel.
Miguel!
You're the guest.
I meant to send you Miguel's background because I read Miguel just gave me a pencil portrait of his life around, with a focus on Zwift. But I read it and it was like, wow, that's amazing. And then I read it again just before we started. I was like, I don't even understand it. It's so complex. Miguel, give us the whole story, man. What's your background?
Oh boy. I mean, if you want to stream for the next 12 hours, for sure.
Yeah, let's do it. Do it. I'm all in. If people don't want to listen, they can go somewhere else.
I've got my coffee ready.
I will. So the way I like sharing my story is, as best I can in chronological order, because that's the easiest way for me to remember it. So I am, and if you ever see my profile picture in Zwift, I represent myself under three national flags: the German flag, American flag, and Puerto Rican flag. I was born in Germany outside of a military base. So I do
I
have a
see.
German birth certificate. So I could, if I wanted to, if I ever
Invade
needed to leave
Poland.
the US, you'll know where to find me. I wouldn't invade Poland. But yeah, so I was born there, obviously, of my parents are Puerto Rican. Dad was in the military, which is why I was born in Germany. And then in the household that I grew up in, specifically more so because I grew up in more of a single family household or single mom household, my mom really heavily focused on me being American. Like she did not, even though I grew up with the Spanish music and the food and the dancing and the cultural norms, it was still very heavily focused on you're American, speak English. Like that's, what she wanted for me. And so,
So wait,
normal
if
kid.
she's where's the American bit come in? Because you were on an American, but if your mum's
I've lived in
Puerto Rican, isn't American, is it? It's not. It's not the 51st state, as it
not
should be.
technically.
But do
That's
you get
yeah,
U.S.
that's a whole nother
citizenship, or
podcast.
I don't want to go into the
um,
complexities of
I don't even know the complexities honestly, and I do my best to stay at surface level with when it comes to that because
yeah.
I grew up, essentially I've lived in the United States since I was right around 2 years old. In different states and whatnot as someone of someone in a household that's primarily being raised by my mom. I've lived with my dad here and there, but moved around a lot and kind of lived that life. And the thing that kind of kept me grounded was right around my middle school ish age. I got into playing with computers and ended up building my own first computer. For those who know the IBM days of building computers, where my very first hard drive was about 10 megabytes in size
Blimey.
and had a mechanical swing arm on the side. Um, and so we've come a long way, especially with everything that we're doing now. And so
Yeah.
that kind of kept me grounded, kept me in like focus with the direction that I ended up taking my life which was obviously, got into the military, stayed in computers in the military, and really wanted to pursue that. Not just in the military, but long term. And the only reason why I went into the military was because my brother did it, and I thought, hey, if he could do it, I could do it. I knew that my mom's financial situation growing up, I never knew the specifics, but you always have that feeling of like maybe college is in the right direction. If I'm not getting scholarships, I doubt there's money there
Yeah.
to send me to
Yeah.
college. And on top of that, I'm just not the institutionalized academic person. I like learning and I love education. I spend half my day, I have between my personal laptop, my iPad, and my phone, I'm on videos all day long of different media types. And I take a bathroom break, I watch stuff. It is surrounding me all the time, which is why I can do my best to kind of watch people's videos and comment and kind of stay interactive. Because like I said before, it's literally like a full-time job for me to kind of keep my hand in the community. And so in the military, my main job role was computers. But obviously I went into the military about 30-ish days before 9/11 happened. So my time in the military changed dramatically in an instant. Thankfully, I didn't have to go right away overseas. I did end up deploying twice overseas, and that kind of left its lingering effects long term, which is the reason why I ultimately go in chronological orders, so people understand that I've lived a lot of different traumas in my life. From single parent household to dealing with typical school stuff, and then military and deploying overseas with military and all that stuff. So a lot of my adult life post military has been spent on trying to backtrack and understand how to kind of unwind a lot of that. And, and that's really what ultimately has led me to, in a weird way, led me to cycling. Because being a Marine, first off, we're the highest ego branch of service. And at least in the U.S. military, I know I've worked with different multinational forces when I was in Iraq. Worked with the British Army SAS guys. I've worked with the Italian military, and we all it's funny because you put us all together.
The U.S. Marines, the SAS, and the Italian military. Like, one of those is not the same as the other.
The base that we were at was out in the middle of nowhere, and it was actually the British military was essentially managing the base. They were responsible for security, as well as kind of the day-to-day operations. We were just sent there because we had no place else to go, is the feeling that we got. But it was a multinational kind of base. So there was literally military from every part of the world that was participating in the Iraqi war. And so I got to, work with a lot of them and got to learn the different personalities. And you can really see that, military personnel, no matter where they come from in the world, especially as you get higher ranking, like the ego builds. Like you feel like you build that kind of I'm unstoppable mentality. The biggest difference between U.S. Marines and every other U.S. branch of forces, that when we get out of our basic training or boot camp, we earn the title Marine. Everybody else kind of comes out and you are whatever service you are. And because we earn that title, we take it, we take the ego to the next level. And
but like the SS as well, I suppose, to a degree.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And so we, that, especially coming, once I got out of the military, my pursuit was always anything I did, I was going to go 100% in as best I can.
So when was that you got out of the military?
So I got out in 2006. I had a 6-year contract, which is very different than the typical contract. Most people's contracts about 4 years. And so the way they have it set up is you do 4 years active and 4 years inactive. The 4 years inactive, you're basically a normal person, but that gives the government a window where they could recall you should anything happen. In my case, because I was 6 years active, I only had a 2-year window where they could recall me if anything else went wrong. But thankfully, they didn't need me. They didn't need my IT expertise. So I was happy about that, to kind of finish that contract and be done with it. As much as I enjoyed my time there, and I've traveled and went to Spain, went to Malta, which is why every time I see Darren streaming, I'm like, man, Malta is such an incredible country. Such an incredible.
Yeah, really, he always describes it as a shithole. Yeah, my dad went there. It was like the best time of his life.
Well, that's because he lives there. I would say the same thing about where I live in Florida too. If people are coming from out of town, they're like, "Oh my God, you live in Florida?" Like, it's all right. I get to see the daily ins and outs. Where when I went to Malta, it was only for 3 days, and enjoyed the typical scenery, the food, the bars, the kind of that type of lifestyle. And
so you came out of the military.
Yep. Once I got out of the military, went into the IT world, and been there ever since. And ultimately, so getting out of the military, I did my best to stay active fitness wise. I would still run. I would, I really would do a lot. And little by little, my body just kept hurting. My lower back started hurting more and more. My knees, my shins, just kind of felt like the body was breaking down, and felt like the typical experience that military people will tell you, especially when they retire, is like, your body breaks down well before your mind does. And even though I'd only been in 6 years, I was already on that path where everything was kind of breaking down. And so I went from essentially 2007-ish till really the last couple years, going through diet after diet, trying to figure out, what diet works, what diet, fits best for me, different workout plans, whether I should be doing. The only thing I've truly have never done is yoga. And I don't think I ever will. But that's just me. I've tried different weight training routines, different HIIT routines, different videos, programs, and just kind of kept bouncing from thing to thing to figure out, kind of how I can not let my body deteriorate. Because the biggest issue for me, especially culminating up to a couple of years ago, was my lower back. So the vertebrae in my lower back, my L4 sits ever so slightly. See if I can show this sideways somehow. So my L4 sits ever so slightly forward off of my L5, which is at the base of the spine, and essentially right over the tailbone. And so because of that, everything, all the ligaments, tendons, nerves, all that stuff gets pulled forward, causing a lot of pain. I was first diagnosed with that just out of the military about 2010. I was diagnosed with that, and little by little that got worse. And I would work out for a day or two, be in pain for 3 or 4 days, work out for another few days, be in pain for another few days. And just that cycle kept going forward and forward until my first daughter was born in 2008, and I'd put on about 20-ish pounds, maybe a little more, from when I got out of the military. And then little by little, that just kept stacking on and kept stacking on. And I know you and I had talked about this earlier, and if you guys are really interested in how people comment on my weight, there's a post that I put on my channel, because I've worked on it for so long that I make sure that, what I represent is who I am. And that's in every aspect of my life, not just, my view of me in terms of my body, my health, nutrition, but my relationships, everything. Like, I'm an open book. And so I've worked really hard to undo a lot of the damage I've done over the years, because I put on a lot of weight. The picture that I sent you for the thumbnail, I was just around my heaviest at that point.
Really?
So I was about 225-ish.
So you're going to have to speak European.
I know. I know it's over 100. I know it's over 100 kilograms. I know that. So it's in that range.
Oh yeah, it's about 2.2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kilogram.
And so.
And what's your height?
I'm 5'7".
Yeah, so that's very
100. I think 60 something centimeters.
That's what we call
Puerto Rican height.
Chunky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For actually, I'm the tallest in my family, by the way. And so, so for me, especially little by little, as I put on the weight, I kept trying to figure out what's going to work, what's not going to work. And, it got to the point where I don't know if this translates overseas, but in the United States, there's a thing called freshman to 15 for people that go to college. And generally, or university, and generally what that means, their first year, they put on about 15 pounds, because it's just studying and junk food eating, or partying and junk food eating.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I hit a point where I was so big that I developed a natural cough and acid reflux because of my weight. And the only reason why I figured that out, because my doctors were just like, oh, you're fine. Just, typical advice that we get here is eat less, move more, and you'll be good. And I would go down from about 220 to 210. So I'd lose like 5-10 pounds, and my cough would go away. My acid reflux would get better. I gained the weight, cough came back. And I kept going through that cycle to finally kind of figure out, like, oh, it is a weight issue. I don't know why it's a weight issue, but it's a weight issue.
I mean, it's remarkable here, at least, how I think it's changed recently, but how accepting doctors were of me being overweight, and just generally being overweight. I mean, and
Yep.
if you don't mind me saying, 220 at your height it's obese, isn't it? That's it's at least obese. I was in the approaching clinical
30,
obese.
I think like 30 something percentile, 33%, 35%. Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's
and so
that's a weight. That's a weight. There should be a serious, a talking to by the doctor of saying this is the problem.
Oh yeah, and the thing for me, and the reason why my doctors kind of they were concerned, but they also never really explained to me what the reality of the concerns were. And this is where, because I love learning, I deep dive into a lot of different topics. It doesn't matter what it is. But, I was diagnosed with fatty liver around 2010-ish, essentially around the same time that I got diagnosed with my back issue. And my doctor was literally like, hey, you're young. just take care of yourself, eat well, you'll be fine. Exercise. And that's literally the advice I got. Eat well, exercise, you'll be fine. But so the way the body develops fat can be different for different people. Some people have essentially subcutaneous fat, which goes under the skin, fluffy, jiggly, and really doesn't pose that much of an issue. In the short-term health issues, it can put stress on joints and stuff like that, but long-term, it's not a big deal. My fat is mostly in my organs, even though I did have a lot of the subcutaneous as well, which is why I look like I'm bloated in the thumbnail picture. My cheeks were huge, but mine was mostly in my organs, and that was putting a lot of stress on my body. And so it's been a journey to try and get rid of that, really just kind of do my best to shed as much weight as possible. And it just, I've gone through, like I said, I've gone through every corner of different diet regimes possible. The only thing I won't do is, vegan, because I like meat. I mean, I just,
hence the name of your channel.
Exactly.
Well, what is your favorite meat, by the way? Might be useful
ribeye.
Later on. Might be useful.
I will
I'm typing that down.
I will eat just about any cut of meat available. I prefer beef primarily because I feel like I feel better and less hungry when I eat beef. I will eat, obviously other cuts of meat, chicken, fish, all that stuff. But you give me a good ribeye, especially, well, I like my ribeyes medium rare, but a little bit of olive oil and salt on it. And for me, that is perfect. For my youngest daughter, you put that on the table, that is the first thing she's going for, and will not let anybody get their hands on it until she, gets her piece. And so,
I can't believe Eric EMBR used to be big as well. He was like 235. Have you seen him? He's a monster on Zwift now. He's an absolute beast. Blimey. So,
Miguel, when I first made steak for my wife, I did the same thing you did. She looked at me like, "Where's the sauce?" I'm like,
if
the
you
steak
do it
is
right,
the important part.
especially yes. I'm a big proponent of using the right materials to cook it, not just cooking it well. So when I barbecue a steak, I use a specific brand of charcoal. That's a lump charcoal, not the Casey Masterpiece instant flame, bursting type of charcoal. It's got to be hardwood lump charcoal because there's a certain flavor you get with the smoke. And I love it. I love a good ribeye.
Next door neighbor is in the US military actually, and he cooked a turkey at Christmas. I think it was a turkey. And turkeys here, you just shove it in the oven for 4 hours and put some bacon on it, and it'd be fine. And it's always just like turkey. And he gave us the turkey he cooked in this smoker he's got in this garden. He cooked it for 3 days or something. I don't know. It was like a whole forest going into the thing, and it tasted. It was just, oh my god! It was just like the best by a country mile, the best turkey I've ever had. But he put some work into it.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you know what you're doing, you can get every ounce of flavor out of any cut of meat that you want. And
anyway, we mustn't
turkey though. You got to try deep fried turkey.
I could do a meat podcast easily, but let's not do the meat podcast. Right, Zwift. So, what part has Zwift played in your life?
So Zwift. So I started Zwifting in 2016.
That's early, man.
Roughly around. I didn't. So I initially thought I made the cut for the original Jarvis release. But looking back at not only at my account, but kind of going through my stuff on Zr.app, I was like, I just missed that cut. Oh, okay. And so when I first started, the main Watopia Island was available, and it started because so in Florida, if you've ever watched the movie Home Alone, when they I think it's the first one where they and the first or second one where they end up in Florida and it's raining.
I think
And they're
that's
like,
the
oh my
second
God,
one.
it's,
I think
you know,
that's the
it's
second one.
supposed to be the Sunshine State. Even though that's technically what we are, is the sun, you know, labeled as a Sunshine State. We get a lot of rain.
Yeah,
And I got sick and
the only
tired
time
of.
that it appears on the news is when there's a massive hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Or when
we
someone does
get,
something utterly crazy and you're like, oh, I bet that's Florida.
yeah, oh yeah.
I
So
usually see the crocodiles on the the alligators on the golf courses.
we
That's
are.
what I think
I
of.
look at us as the Australia of America. Just not. We don't have as many deadly animals though. But we
the
do
ones you
have
have,
that
yeah.
kind of wild side of things. Just crazy happen at all times. And so right around 2016, I got into Zwifting because I ended up buying a bike because the company Sports Authority was going out of business. And my wife wanted to get a bike. I ended up getting a cheap bike, $99, literally steel, you know, what's viewed as like just an everyday all around bike. Ended up breaking that bike. I put enough torque through it where I essentially pulled the handlebars off, broke one of the pedals, like off the actual, off the stem. Like I ripped apart that bike.
Should have been signed up to USA Cycling
It
straight away.
it was a super soft steel, which it blew my mind that I couldn't believe how bad it was, you know, in terms of materials. And so being in South Florida, like I wanted to be out. I wanted to ride around. I ended up, one of my bosses, super, super generous. I have a very love-hate relationship with that employer. A lot of good friends out of there, but the boss he's a former Marine as well. And he and I just butt heads all the time. So he ended up giving me a pretty decent Christmas bonus. So I ended up getting a giant Defy 5, which is kind of their entry level, especially for back then. It was an entry level bike.
He sounds awesome. I want that, boss.
It was a very, like I said, it was a very generous Christmas gift. I was kind of, you know, surprised because, like I said, he and I butt heads a lot. And so when I first bought that bike, I went from riding around my neighborhood doing 10, 15 miles to the furthest I've ever ridden is 89 miles. And I would go every weekend ride. I would leave my house, depending on the ride I did, I would purposefully leave my house early, to avoid cars, but also because I did not want to. I have a tendency to jump into the deep end when it comes to my hobbies. And as we all know, when it comes to cycling is not cheap. None of my hobbies are cheap.
Actually. I haven't bought a bike for like 15 years, and it's fine.
You haven't changed anything on your bike.
Oh no, I did buy a bike. I bought a bike last year. Yeah, they just work. They're just bits of metal. I don't understand why people keep breaking them and changing bits.
It just works until you touch stuff. That's the problem. Is I keep touching things. I keep trying to tweak things, and I want to get a little better, a little faster. The Giant initially came with a 8-speed set, and I wanted to upgrade it, and so that upgrade turned into 10-speed. I told the guy, I was like, look, I just need a shifter. I was like, can I just get the one shifter and the derailleur, and that's it? He's like, no, you got to change this and this out too. I was like, fine. And so it just little by little kind of added up, and I was, putting in a lot more miles, and because I wanted to not let my cycling be a priority over my family. Especially when I do the long rides, I would leave my house at 3 a.m. and go ride and come back by 9, 10 o'clock to try and be home early enough to then spend the rest of my day with my family, which was always me laying in the bed because I was stuck. Like there was no recovering that day from those long rides. Although my favorite experience was I parked. So I went to the coast because I'm about 20 minutes from the coast.
Oh, I've almost located you. I've got South Florida. So we've got South Florida, 20 miles from the coast.
Hey, if you're on a geo tracker or
how about
the
Lakeland?
geolocator groups?
Lakeland.
Oh, that's way far.
Way far.
Lakeland is about 3.5 hours north and just west of where I am.
North.
We're gonna
North.
We're gonna have two
on
games.
the same distance. I'm the same
How big
distance
is that bloody
as you guys are from London
state?
to Yorkshire.
What? Okay. Let's go for Labelle. Labelle. There you go.
Nope.
Oh,
While we're playing this game, so we've
I'm-
got two games. Guess Miguel's location, and also guess what his T-shirt says. That's
yay! We've got to find out what
uh,
the other half of the T-shirt says. I can't believe no one's
That's
asked.
funny.
No, they were asking
Well-
in the chat.
Oh, someone's
I wanted to
close.
be a quiz question.
Oh, Broward is close, is it? Broward. Well, I can't see.
Someone's
Can't even
close.
see Broward. Is Broward
Yep.
close?
And so
Or Dade?
yeah.
Oh.
So I'm in the Broward County. Now, if you can locate my city, that would be impressive.
It's a city.
Well, no, Broward is a county.
Oh,
So that's
but
kind
you
of
live
the
in a
main.
city.
Yep.
What's
in
the
a
population
suburb.
of the city? That'll narrow it down anyway.
Ooh, that I couldn't tell you. We're
Would have to kill me.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick. But so when I parked at the
That's a cool
beach,
story, bro.
I was parking and people were literally walking out of the club right across the street from me, just hammered. And I'm parking, getting out of my car with my bike in my Lycra, with all my lights flashing everywhere. And I was just looking at them like, this is truly a dichotomy of lifestyles. They're partying, living their best life, enjoying it. And I am frustrated up at 3:30 in the morning, getting ready to do a long bike ride with really I truly enjoy being on a bike. Especially there's a part of when I would do those rides, there's a city that I would get to that it's just, the coastline is absolutely beautiful. By the time I got there, the sun was just coming up and it was like truly a picturesque, view. And so I enjoyed that. What I didn't enjoy is the legs burning, my lower back hurting, and being completely depleted of electrolytes by the time I got back to the car, and just kind of feeling like I was going to die and hoping that I had enough energy left in me to drive home.
I'm sorry, I can't get away from the geo-guessing game. I can't concentrate on anything else.
Tell us more details about this coastline.
According to the internet, there's 134,000 residents. 134,000.
Because Fort Lauderdale is obviously a military city, isn't it?
No.
Isn't it?
Well, I'm sure it was back in, the black and white days.
No, I mean, I only know this because there was a
life.
terrorist attack there, wasn't there? So that's the only thing I know from.
No.
It's you navigate myself away around the world by terrorist attacks. So, oh yeah, that part of London. Is that where they bombed the buses? Oh no, that was where they bombed the bridge. That kind of thing.
That's funny. So I am in so Fort Lauderdale is the main metropolitan area for our part of Broward County. I am almost as far west as you can get.
Right. So I have to picture on the map. Right. Of the county.
Of the county. Well,
Right.
before you get into the Everglades, because our county does go into the Everglades.
Oh man, it's got the Everglades. Andy
But
Town.
you'll see
Andy Town.
where the grass ends and the city starts.
Plantation. That sounds like nice places. Plantation.
Ooh, close. I'm just north of Plantation.
Sunrise.
A little
There's actually a
further
town
north.
called
Tamarack.
Plantation.
Yep.
What?
There's a town called Plantation, but I'm not in Tamarack. I'm ever so slightly north of Tamarack.
Coral Springs.
I'm in Coral Springs.
Yay! We got that at the end. Right. Okay.
That's the end of the podcast, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Oh, Wes got it as well. Right. I'm sorry. We've got to get on to the garage stuff. Is there anything else that you've done in your life?
So outside of cycling, my other very, very expensive hobby is astrophotography. And so the part of the reason why I love cycling so much, as well as why I love astrophotography, is that has been literally the foundation to all of my mental health improvements. That is a huge, huge focus in my life. Like I said, between my upbringing and my military experiences, mental health became a very big pillar, especially over the last handful of years, very big pillar in my life. Obviously I know we all, talked about it in different ways, shapes and forms, but those are the two outlets that for me really have helped me improve the most. Obviously outside of therapy and traditional kind of methods, but, being, with astrophotography, when you're out in the middle of nowhere in Florida, literally next to gators, being eaten by mosquitoes, and it's just you and your own mental thoughts. For me, it really came down to, I was either going to learn to quiet the voice in my head or understand what, where the voices were coming from and what I should listen to and what I should ignore. And that, again, there's days where I was out there I'd set up my rig at 7 o'clock and I'd come home at 4 or 5 in the morning, depending on when the clouds rolled through. And so I was out there a lot alone and ultimately just kind of figured out how to kind of manage my own head. And this is, I know we all go through the same with cycling. When you're on the bike, especially if you're doing a long ride, at some point the music fades away and your own thoughts kind of pull through and you either accept them or you ignore them.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the best things I like about cycling, and I actually running even more, was that you could just zone in and just like, I like the fact that you're doing something, because I like meditating. I still meditate when I'm on the train or something like that I can't move. But like doing something as well as being able to, just singular focus. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%.
I do love astrophotography though. No, I've never got into it. I know. We've got to move on. We've got to talk about.
Yeah, we can make another whole podcast on that as well. What equipment have we got?
But tell me what your favorite thing to photograph is. One thing.
I will show you my latest because there is no one.
God. Not 5.
You be like my wife Whitney. These 10,000 photos.
Holy crap!
If you can see it, that's the Horsehead and Flame Nebula.
Oh my god, that's
awesome! It's about 10 hours worth of data. It's like now I have the luxury of having my rig in my backyard, and it kind of runs, and I have enough filters to kind of deal with local light pollution. And I still don't fully sleep through the night when my rig is going, because after all, it is Florida, and at any moment it could rain, no matter how sunny it is outside or how clear the sky is.
Crazy head would come in and take it.
Stick
his ass in
that is a part of it.
Or mosquitoes carried away.
Our mosquitoes man. I went out the other night and they lit me up. They reminded me why I don't like being out at night.
Are they because in Australia we have mosquitoes south, but then you go north and we actually have different mosquito repellents, tropical. But I was sitting in Northern Territory and you spray yourself with mosquito repellent and they'd land on you and just still keep eating you. It's like they enjoyed the mosquito repellent.
I personally feel like they know exactly where the repellent didn't land and they just go for that spot. They can sense it or see it somehow.
Yeah. And they bite through your clothes too because they're so bloody big.
Yep, I've had them bite through the bottom of my. When I was in the military, I had them. So one of the sleeping bags that we have is called a Gore-Tex, essentially a Gore-Tex sack. It's a very thick, heavy, kind of plasticky material. I've had it go through my foot, the bottom of my foot, to get at me.
Yeah.
And so
they love my ankles. Mosquitoes just like, I must have the tastiest ankles in the world, and my ankle blood must be like the most.
All right, show us your ankles, Rob. We'll have a poll.
They just love my ankles. I got out of the car when I went to Spain. Like I drove there, like 60 miles from the airport or wherever. Got out the car. And they just, from hundreds of miles around, they swung because I didn't put any repellent on just to get out the car to get directions to the house.
I don't know how he didn't get through more than 2 points the other day. Dwayne said he's going. He has to go to bed. Do we get past point 1 yet?
I know. But Miguel's too interested. Miguel, we're going to have less interesting guests in future. No more interesting guests.
You got to stop asking things about people.
Rob, did you know that London actually has the biggest university for testing mosquitoes?
No, I didn't.
It's in the quiz later on. Don't tell him.
Why? We haven't even got any.
Yep.
Yeah, don't tell everyone the answers.
That's funny.
But we managed to bring it around the WTRL somehow on the chat.
Yeah, we hate WTRL. They didn't like my ankles either. Right. That was wonderful, Miguel. We're going to come back to you and talk more about you later. But we must talk about Zwift also. And
Yes.
it has been a monumental change.
Chaotic.
The tectonic plates of Zwift have shifted under our feet. After years of bike changes basically being rubbish and getting more rubbish, actually, bike changes barely making any difference, gravel bikes, whatever, blah blah blah.
BMXs.
I just took the disc wheels for virtually everything, really. It's all changed.
Yeah.
It's all changed.
Ben's got to redo all of his videos.
Yeah. I gotta go up the app, gotta do another 2-hour ride in the pack. What difference does a draft make on those 15 different setups?
Yeah. Right.
Well, I gotta upgrade like 50 bikes.
Yeah, you have. It's utterly. I mean, let me just say at the outset, I absolutely love it. I think it's awesome. It's like the best thing they've done for. I don't know, since I've been on Zwift. I think it's the best thing they've done.
I think it's the best thing for us nerds who will be like, oh, this is great. I'm going to ride my bike so much. But imagine if you're like, you just jump on Zwift once a week when it rains. And then you're like, all right, what the hell is this? And
Well,
so
it's
you're going to
about
go.
time they did something for us. They've just been screwing us over for ages. Oh, there's a Zwift Racing score. Okay, you've got to ride with the professionals now because you ride twice a week. Oh, really? Have I? Have I really? Yeah, you have.
Professional
And you've got to pay
70-year-olds.
more.
Yeah.
So it's about time they did something for us.
I think, yeah. I like it, but I suspect also a lot of race organisers are going to neutralise their races because
that's my biggest concern, and that is truly the only gripe I have with it is I'm gonna put like, so for my plans this weekend, I got the SL8. I want to do the first upgrade, which is 200 kilometers. I've always wanted to do 100 miles. Time to do it, see what the first upgrade's like. But I feel like, why am I going to put all of these, miles and kilometers on these bikes? Or like with the time trial bike, the first unlock is 6 hours. Who's going to TT for 6 hours?
You are, Miguel. Everyone knows it.
Yeah,
you're going to do it. Of course you
over
are.
the next 6 to 8 weeks, maybe. But I feel like I'm going to put a lot of effort in for this first unlock. I want to be able to use it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's the new toy. I want to have it with me everywhere I go. I don't want to just use it when I'm on the Robo Pacer.
Right. We had 2 seconds about being positive about Zwift. The fact that this is the best thing they've ever done until we said, no, rubbish. We hate you, Zwift.
It is. I mean,
it is annoying though. The Zwift games. Now it's the most important race. We're going to take it away from you. Like, what? Why are you taking it away from me?
I tell you what, though, for Zwift games, I'm having a blast being on the BMX. I know some of you have not gotten it, and I feel bad because I keep bragging about it, but I do love riding on the BMX.
Yeah, I don't want to ride up hills with pros. I'm like, nah, I'm all right. No thanks.
I haven't actually done the Grand Prix races. What happens when you're going down descent with the BMX if you hit the front? Because obviously, if you don't I don't do those races.
I think it just comes down to the rider itself, your weight. And so I feel like I descend a lot faster on the BMX, even though the bikes are neutralized, versus like the time trial I did yesterday, and then the DRS on Wednesday. I got separated from the pack almost immediately because I was going downhill and just got disconnected. Versus the bikes.
I've been interested to see that because you haven't got super tuck with the BMX, but it's also realistically the saddle height's about 2 foot off the ground, so it should be really super aero.
Right,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to talk about these bike upgrades. They've got to bloody kill you, Ben. Right.
I'm just going to do neutralized events.
What? Right. Okay, so the main takeaway is, I think this is the most important point. There's me pointing for emphasis. There's now just far bigger differences. It starts to make a difference which bike you take. It really didn't make much difference in the past. You could talk about it, and I did talk about it at length, but really, not much difference in the old days. Last week. But this week, it does make a difference. Can't take those disc wheels up hills anymore. No. I won't be taking...
I did only because I couldn't work out whether I should take the disc because I didn't have the upgraded game yet.
Okay, you can take them and it'll cost you a few seconds, okay? Rather than it costing you milliseconds or whatever, it will cost you seconds. But it will cost you seconds. Going up Box Hill on the disc wheels now will definitely cost you seconds, whereas previously it just didn't matter really, and you'll make it up on the flat.
You're probably faster up some of the sections because aero is still king.
Yeah, and in the top rated races, it would definitely make a difference.
They go up there in 30 seconds. Did you see Thomas? Obviously you did. You're watching, but you haven't got enough time to go to a toilet break with the elite races.
Oh my god! I was like, what? This can't be the top. This can't be the top. We've just started. It was like 2 minutes 30 or something. What the hell is going on? I was just completely done. What is this, the top? Anyway, right, let's stick to these bike changes. Right, so the general... everyone listening does know more. Maybe we don't need to cover it. No, okay, right, so...
We don't need to go in specifics. That'll take 2 hours in itself.
Well, I've got a lot of specifics, actually. Peter Twig did awesome slides, so you can read that if you want. But look what he did. So there's 4 different types of bikes. That's number 4 for you, and there's 5 upgrades, and these are so the different types of bikes that you've got require different types of riding, different types of activity to do your upgrades. So a climbing bike requires you to do elevation. A road bike requires you to do distance, and a TT bike requires you to do time, I think.
Yep.
What about a gravel bike? Does it require you to do beers?
If one person can hear the audio, okay. Yes, Wes. Yeah, it's the audience's fault. It's not my fault. Refresh your YouTube.
I probably can't hear you, Rob.
And then you have to pay. And then you have to pay once you get there. And so the best all rounder now, and let's go to Zwift Insider. I'll just show Peter's final slide because it is pretty good. It shows you
Jesus.
It shows you all the different bikes and what type they are. So the best all rounder.
Oh my god.
He downloaded this.
Just wait, let me get closer to the screen.
Is the Specialized Tarmac SL8. Yeah, that is the best all rounder according to everyone.
Where's my zoom?
Oh, that's the wrong thing. Right. Audio's good. Not our fault at all. Right. And I'm going to change that browser, webcam, properties. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second.
So they haven't got anything for gravel bikes. You can't upgrade gravel bikes, I assume.
Yeah, you can.
They just forgot about gravel bikes.
I didn't think to check the Roubaix or like the Buffalo bike or any of those. See whether or not they have upgrades to them.
Maybe they just do. You just get drops and things.
Well, the one thing I was surprised at is that Zwift Insider didn't test the he tested the lightweight wheels, but he didn't test the other ones that are allegedly better.
Yeah,
when
the
it comes to
MV
climbing.
3.4s and
I
also
don't
the
know.
Rovals. Yeah, the
Yeah, I
Rovals.
don't know which ones they are. I think it's the Overhaul.
Oh,
So I was kind of shocked at that.
I thought his analysis was
But
brilliant. I thought it was one of the best
it
things
is
he's
great.
ever wrote.
That's like send your kid home with homework and come back in the morning. We'll have a quiz type of write ups.
Yeah. So there's 5 stages. They've called it CDA, weight, drivetrain, drops on XP. But
I'm so glad that it did drivetrain. They didn't say ceramic speed upgrade. I would have quit as if they did that.
well, is that just a lot of
Ceramic
bike
speed.
nonsense,
That's
or-
nice. I'm gonna give you ceramic speed and bigger.
If you're a Hambini channel watcher, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, this isn't the page I wanted.
At least it's not the page that we're talking about with dial-up before.
I tell you what, I know it's a bit of a diversion, but is I loved his first point. It's like, why have they done this? Why have they done this rather than new roads? And it's just said it's just a nice thing to do, and if you don't like it, then just piss off.
See, I kind of look at it as if the intention is that they're trying to compete with other traditional esports racing games, then this makes total sense. Because in every esports racing game, you can customize your vehicle however you want, or customize your equipment however you want.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to use that in every race, not just the lower end.
I fully agree, and I think we can park that point as being made. I fully agree that it should be in every race.
Beat that drum.
But I love this. It's just because whenever they do something, whenever Zwift do anything, literally whenever they do anything to improve the game, people say, "Oh no, why didn't you do the thing that I want you to do? You shouldn't be focusing your dev thing. Why didn't you do the thing that I wanted to do?" Like, what? I mean, whenever they release new roads, I don't want new roads. I do not want new roads. I was like, I'm quite happy with the roads you've got. I just want to,
make them better. Like I like when they make the graphics better. I don't care about a road. There's not many roads on Zwift.
You want one thing. You want graphics better, or whatever it might be. I want pack dynamics to be better. Someone else wants more roads. But like, if they do one thing, then people say, "Oh no, you shouldn't have been doing that thing. You should have been doing the thing that I want." Like you can't, as if you can't do 2 things at once. It's just such a moronic point. As if they're not already working on new roads. Someone designing graphics for new roads isn't going to be doing bike upgrades. You bloody moron! Sorry.
You knew that.
Yeah.
No. Calm down, Rob.
It's just so annoying. If new roads get released, I don't go, "No, you shouldn't have been doing new roads. You should have been doing pack dynamics." What a ridiculous, utterly moronic point to make. So I'm glad he made this. Brilliant from Eric to say, no, just leave it out, you bloody pillocks. Just because they're doing this doesn't mean they're not doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that was my.
Yeah,
the
company I work for now is a software development company, so I see this all the time.
Yeah, no.
It's like, oh, they're not fixing bugs. It's like, yes, they're not fixing bugs, but that's
they're also
when you know what the software development pipeline looks like, you know that not everything can be done at once, unfortunately.
But more than one thing can be done at once as well.
Yep. Now, if they can add a portal to go from world to world, that would be kind of cool.
Right. Okay. So that's my pre-planned rant. Done. Okay.
I think you should wear the heart rate monitor during the podcast. Right?
Add that as a sauce overlay into the
stream. Probably do more heart rate than you do in the races sometimes.
Yeah, fair enough. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. What's this? Is there to say? You've got your different type. Yeah, it's basically they get a lot. They're all a lot better. What more is there to say?
I'm a bit worried that I'm going to be riding that bloody roller skate bike on the TTTs eventually.
Yeah, okay. So there's the Halo
Halo
bikes.
bikes.
I have got
Yeah.
there's a different page all about the Halo bikes, which I could bring up. But we've got the Pinarello. So these ones are special. These sounds incredibly hard to get, and it's almost like a status thing, I think. Like because they're not that much better than I don't know if the Tron will be, but you've got to fully upgrade 3 bikes of the same manufacturer. So that is each one is a massive undertaking of its own.
It won't take that long. Seriously, like we're going to be sitting here in 6 months. We'll have
done them
4
all,
Halo
done them
bikes in
all.
our shit.
I won't be.
There's
I
more
only,
Halo
I only
bikes.
Zwift like once a week now. But yeah, so we've got the Pinner. They've got the Miguel and Durain. What's it called? What did he call his bike? They call it the Big Mig, don't they, or something like that.
Was that the bike? Yeah.
And then this specialized idea that they had from 1974, apparently, or inspired by 1974.
Interesting.
And then
I like that balance bike.
did they ever make this bike? Was that
Surely not.
Joking, you asshole!
They could use it on the velodrome. You could get on the velodrome.
What in
Skate
the
wheels in front.
world?
4
Have you
skate
not seen
wheels.
people do inline skating around? Like they've got
That's
plenty of people
funny.
skating around bloody 60 kilometers an hour.
Hey,
And
you'll see
and
that
you
on
can do-
Iron Man one day.
You can do the Tron. You can do the Tron. The I couldn't work out. Is the Tron actually? I think the Tron is now like the fastest
Fastest on the flats.
on the flats.
I think I'm glad that they made that change because it was kind of what's the point of getting the Tron if it's got like a whatever plasma wheels or something? Surely it's got to be super aerodynamic. It was kind of
Oh,
Yeah, I would
I never
see.
used the Tron. I got the Tron and then put it in the garage, and it's just zapping the bugs in my garage.
I used to dislike it because you couldn't see whether you were in the draft or not. But now I know whether in the draft or not. I don't need the up down thing. Like, it was a good thing to learn. You know, when you learn in the draft, you know, are you sitting or standing?
How many others went? What's wrong with my rider? He's not drafting. I think Zwift broken.
Yeah, I don't know why they excluded it from the Tron. It's like, no, we can't do that on the Tron. What? Really? So that's the only reason I used to dislike the Tron. But yeah, I think upgrading. But the Tron is like a lot more to upgrade. If you look at Peter's slides, if we go back to Peter's slides,
Could you zoom in a bit?
look how much more it is to upgrade the Tron, the concept bikes. So these like the concept bikes are the Tron, I think. Plus,
Yeah, it's like 26,000. Is it 26,050 kilometers to get to
Yeah.
level 5?
no,
Wow.
2,000, not 26,000.
Level 5? I got to enlarge my screen.
2,650, not 26,000, surely.
I was going to say, Jesus Christ, that's at least 6 months.
Well, Peter Twigged, who did these slides, and I'm very grateful to him. He's got all sorts of nice workarounds. I think I would call them workarounds rather than cheats. So stuff like teleporting to people who are at the top of Ventrop and just like going down, doing that a few times.
Yeah, he did that to me one day.
Yeah. Oh, he's doing it to everyone. Yeah.
He's probably
I was
following
in
like
an event,
5,000
and
people.
he's like, "Hey, doing great." And all of a sudden, he shows up next to me. He's like, "You want to race downhill?" Where did you come from?
Oh, Troy doesn't like the way the Tron looks.
And also, the chat has a point. They went to the specialized wind tunnel, and then the specialized is the fastest bike. So there is.
I mean, you could see that both ways, though, couldn't you? Because Specialized wouldn't do it if they didn't think they were going to come out looking good, would they? So, they wouldn't say, come to the wind tunnel, test whatever bikes you like. If I
I
was...
just saw Michael's comment. I just had to.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Yep.
I'd never thought about it that way, but I'm never going to look at the Tron the same again, Michael Aaron.
That's very true. It's going to be hard not to think about that.
Yeah, so I think that's the one to go for. I think if I was a dedicated, if I was doing as much as I used to do on Zwift, I think I could go for the concept straight away. But most people, I think, are going for the SL8, made by Specialized.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone knows that. And they're, Specialized, high-end, 440 kilometers. Oh, no, but it's not cumulative. That is not cumulative. That is for each stage.
Yeah, so you get to level 4, then you got to do another 2,600.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not, it's not 130 kilometers for the entry level 2. You've got to do 230 kilometers to get to entry level 2 on distance. So, yeah, that must be like 8,000 kilometers in total to do that is not an easy undertaking.
That's 9 months for the average rider.
Yeah.
Because I think I clocked in just under 10,000 kilometers this year.
Yeah.
Not that I'm racing 3-4 days a week.
My worry is with this sort of thing is it doesn't really matter so much in races, but when you're riding around on Zwift and you see those people with 600 kilometers under their belt doing 6 watts per kilo, and it throws you out of the game in terms of like you're riding along and you think, okay, all of a sudden I realize I'm in a game now because someone's just setting up a bot, just accumulating kilometers. So there'll be someone who's probably already upgraded their bike by now just by going up and down the Alp and riding around the route.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd prefer things in games that doesn't encourage everyone to jump on a bot.
But what else can you do? And I love it. I think it's genuinely going to encourage me to get on the bike.
Yeah.
I honestly do.
One of the things that it does annoy me though is that I want to do the Training Peaks virtual Grand Tour after the Tuggos Tour, and so I'm going to have to be riding Training Peaks, and on my phone I'm going to be running Zwift just so I can accumulate kilometers. Right. Not that it really matters in a race. Like the reality is I'll be able to still race and probably finish pretty damn close. But if the fact that you don't want to change platform because you're going to miss out on accumulating all of these stats.
Yeah, there you go.
The big reason why they've got this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love this new graph, by the way he's done it. It makes far more sense than the way he used to, but he's got, so he's got the time saved. So that makes more sense. He used to do it by the time taken. It always said, okay, so it's negative and you got to but he's done these new, and are these groupings right? So these groupings are sort of climbing setups or... Yeah, so this is the climbing setup, so that saves a lot on climbing, obviously, but
it's going to be interesting because Athos, I think you put out information saying that if you upgrade the Athos, it's still the fastest climbing bike, but the SL8's basically, it's going to be the Halo bike of regular bikes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody's on the SL8 right now.
So the SL8...
I kind of wish that there was...
So the SL8 is faster than the Athos?
It's before it's upgraded, I think it's slightly faster. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Which is kind of... I'd actually prefer if the Athos actually was the best climbing bike.
Yeah.
But I think when you fully upgrade it, it will be. But it's so rubbish at aerodynamics that what's the point? You basically, unless you start at the bottom of the Ventop climb, just go the SL8.
Yeah, you're losing like 20 odd seconds on the flat.
Yeah.
That is a fair amount of seconds, isn't it?
Yep.
But I love how it's more, it's more. There's more greater differential now.
I did love the unknown. I would like them to publish, okay, what happens if you upgrade every single bike? This is the exact performance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not knowing about that's kind of exciting. It's like, wow, I don't know something about
How
what
far,
bike I should be
is it gonna
upgrading
go?
to.
I don't think
and
the
Eric
upgrades will
Barnett,
be awesome, but sorry, Eric
yeah,
Barnett.
but Eric Barnett's he's doing his workouts at the moment, and he has actually got the drops and the level to be using the SL8. So he's gone the other way. He's gone with the titanium bike, or steel bike, I should say, so they can get more drops and XP, I think, which is, there's going to be a big difference between the haves and have-nots on Zwift in terms of what your technique is.
Oh, okay. So he's gone for an entry level, which takes less upgrading.
Yes, I think I haven't looked at the details, but he was talking about the workout that if you use the Zwift steel bike, it gives you more drops because he needs the money.
It gives you.
He hasn't got he hasn't actually got the funds to get all these bikes because he hasn't been riding on Zwift long enough.
Yeah,
and so
he
there will
wasted
be
all his drops or something.
yeah. So,
I really regret.
and also,
I did for one of those like stupid quiz challenges. I bought a Buffalo bike or something for like 3 million. She's like, I don't need these drops. They mean nothing to me now. Now I might need them.
Still, I don't know.
I've only got 14 million now.
Yeah, the amount of kilometers we've got to do, I think we'll accumulate the drops just before we get to the upgrade point anyway.
That's true,
And hopefully that was their rationale behind putting those kilometer limits. Especially if you're riding with the bots, you should be able to get those drops.
Michael makes a good point. What happens when by the time you get to upgrade your SL8, the SL9's been released?
Start again.
Start all over.
Yeah, Dave said we should talk about training rather than upgrading bikes. We kind of will be training though. We'll be training poorly.
Well, that is the thing, isn't it? It should be, it should be a motivation to do things. I genuinely think it will be for me. Right, okay. We've talked about the Halo bikes as well, and what else are we going to talk about? I'm not going to talk about Zwift games, other than Josh is awesome. Isn't Josh awesome? Is he? I always feel like he's got a chance, but his analysis video recently, he's just his videos have like gone different level. He's so cool, and Josh Harris, this is, who's sitting third in Zwift games in the men's table. Obviously.
I think he's fourth now. Fourth after the last one because he did his videos backwards.
Oh, okay. Right.
But I'm pretty jealous because he actually knows how to tell a story, which is a very important thing when you're making a YouTube video.
Yeah. He just needs to learn how to make thumbnails more exciting, I think. He doesn't realise I don't think he knows how important thumbnails are, does he?
Thumbnails are so bloody hard to make. I hate thumbnails. If there was an option just to have no thumbnails on YouTube, I'd love that because it's so frustrating to make a thumbnail.
Thumbnails are everything, though. In terms of views, anyway, if that's what you want. If you like all that sort of thing, people watching your videos.
Yeah, if you haven't watched Josh Harris breakdowns, it's good to see the insights of the elite racers.
Yeah, and he's not like overly humble, but he's not like he's not arrogant at all. He's just like, I could do this, but I can't do that. He's like, I'm not going to win the race, but I can maybe get third.
He's so laid back. It's like a typical Tasmanian laid back style sort of storytelling.
Right. Yeah. It's great. It's great analysis. But people have started watching you on the internet, Ben. Thousands of them. Thousands. Throngs.
I've got a few views. It's funny because the video that I made for Zwift Insider, I put a lot of effort in, but I made another video that put heaps more effort in because I wanted to try and make sure I cut out things, and it got like a quarter of the amount of views.
Which one was that?
With YouTube, you're just gonna be like, I just keep putting those videos out. But yeah, so Zwift Insider reached out to me before I went to China and said, I'd like to publish some of your articles if you just write up something, because he likes the content, obviously. And so, that was good. It's I'll probably post a few more things with him, but obviously with him, he's got a publishing schedule. So I actually had that video ready to go about a week before he published it. And so for those who do make YouTube videos, it's a very weird thing to have a video ready, but then not be able to hit go public. You're like, I just want to hit the go public. It's sitting there, ready to go.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah. And then I hit the schedule because he said it's going to go at, I think it was 11 o'clock US Pacific time or something. So I checked up, okay, this is what it should be. And then luckily I was awake because the daylight savings changed. So it wasn't live when he published it. So I was like, oh crap, I got to publish it, and accidentally published my draft, and then I unpublished that and then published it. Because I don't know if you guys do this, but I always publish a draft before I finish my draft so I can see what it's like on YouTube just in case I need to fix things up.
Oh, Jesus, no.
And then I'll keep it as private because you can look at stats for nerds. You can see, because I try and get my, speaking of sound, I've got a helicopter flying overhead, so it might come in.
How do you know it's a helicopter?
Stats for nerds.
Because
I live next to the Essendon airport. If people want to try and geolocate me, I'm near the Essendon airport.
Oh, right, let's find you.
But I always look up stats for
precise
nerds.
location.
Yeah. You can check the wind to see which direction they're landing.
No, let's not.
Let's move on.
Yeah, you're meant to keep me in check, man. It's got out of control. You're always telling me off. Is it because you didn't want to tell
I want to go back to the astrophotography.
No, we can't become astro.
Yeah, you're in the best spot for astrophotography.
I know, like we see the sky that you guys can't see. Like we see most of the Milky Way.
See everything upside down.
What is the Milky Way in the south?
You can't see the Milky. You can't see most of the Milky Way from the northern hemisphere, except for like every 40 years.
You can't see most of the Milky Way from anywhere. What are you talking about?
Australia, we've got the full view of it. Like literally, it's our.
You can't see all of the Milky Way. It's massive.
Yeah, I know, but the sky's pretty big. Basically,
there's like 400 billion stars. You can't see them all.
We see the whole galaxy.
You don't.
Trust me.
Okay. No one's even seen the black hole or the stars surrounding the inner black hole of the galaxy. You can't see it all.
You can't go
Stop
past the.
boasting by a bloody country. You cannot see the whole Milky Way. Ridiculous comment.
Yeah, because you can't see the very edges, but if you come to Australia, you look up in the sky, you'll see a cloud, and it's not a cloud; it's the galaxy.
I can see.
Trust me.
I can see a milky cloud in the sky.
Well, we won't get into this topic, but people travel from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere to have a good look at the Milky Way.
Oh, piss off! So arseholes do that. I want to have a good look at the Milky Way.
I'd love to.
I want to have a good look at the Milky Way. Get lost. There's no way it's better in the southern hemisphere. Get lost.
You can't even see stars where you are, Rob. What would you know?
I see the Milky Way. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's why I like. I used to work on a cattle station where you look up and see plenty of.
What? You used to work on a cattle station? Stop being so interesting but irrelevant. I've got to ask about this now. What did you do?
One thing I never actually talked about.
Did you literally shear sheep?
No, what? Do you have sheep on a cattle station, Rob?
Oh yeah. Were you wrangling cows then? What were you doing?
I used to get in the yards and weep and waller, and then
What's weeping?
Yeah, but I didn't do much yard work. I managed to stay away from the castration, thank God. So, yeah, I worked in the life-saving force. I used to go around and check to make sure there's enough water, check the fences are okay, let them know if there's any issues. Sometimes I get in the plane. I didn't get to fly it that much, but the cattle station was 100 kilometers by 100 kilometers, so it's 1,000 square kilometers, and I'd have half the station. There was two of us doing what I was doing. We'd split the station in half. I had three runs that I'd do twice a week. One of them I used to drive 280 kilometers just to get the day done.
Wow.
So, yeah. So a lot of a lot of stargazing, swimming in water holes, running away from water buffaloes. The water buffaloes are always
Well, if you go back to that now, just make sure to take a Garmin with you so you can have your Zwift running on your phone and your car is your putting out the watts.
I'd have all the Haley bikes. Yeah.
Right.
I broke my differential once doing some stupid stuff and had to tell the boss that it was just I don't know how that happened.
That is never fun. Broken a differential before. Never fun.
And then
what
I
is
didn't
that?
know it was broken.
Right, we're not talking about cars.
Instead of having four-wheel drive, I had like one-wheel drive.
I draw the line at talking about cars.
Anyway, moving on. What's the next thing on the topic?
Of the car.
I can't remember.
Basically, I got stuck. I didn't know why I got stuck. I was like, I'm in four-wheel drive.
Right, okay. We're going to do this very quickly because we really are going on for a very long time. Getting back into Zwift. So each of us have had gaps in our exercising and Zwifting lifetime. How do you approach getting back into it?
Gingerly.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Gingerly for sure.
Do you?
I used to. I remember when I used to ride a lot, and I sort of forgot about it. But the first week I was back from China, I was like, "Oh, that's right. That's what sore legs feel like." I've forgotten that feeling of every day having sore legs, and also getting a sore saddle sore, like saddle ass for the first week too. Those are the things that are difficult to get into. But once you get back in, you kind of forget about the sore legs.
Well, the sore legs become nice, don't they? They become like a nice soreness, I think. It's like, oh yeah, I can feel my legs kind of buzzing, because I've started going to the gym rather than Zwifting lately, and that's a kind of new, you get a horrible feeling to start with. You like pains and muscles that you haven't really used, but once you've done it a few times, you're like, oh, actually, that's quite nice. Not quite pain, but a kind of buzz in your legs, isn't it? It's growing. You can feel you're strengthening almost if you recognize it.
Yeah, I used to find it funny that when I had like a FTP of like 350, and then I'd get off the bike and get upstairs. It's like, how the hell am I doing 350 watts easily? And just walking upstairs.
I can't go up flight of stairs. Yeah.
Is my power meter broken?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, so Miguel, what do you like? How do you get back into it?
My approach on that, because like I mentioned earlier, having been on Zwift since 2016 on and off, a big factor for me was I like simplicity. If I could just have it set up, jump on, do what I need to do, get off, and keep it that way day in and day out, it's more effective. But having a goal in mind was really what kept me kind of on it. So this week I think 61 or 62 weeks consistent according to Zwift.
Whoa.
And that's the longest I've ever been on Zwift straight. The only reason why I've been on that long is because my YouTube channel, because I feel like if I'm not posting something, then that means I'm not working, in the sense of not riding. And that just, again, keeping the channel active means I have goals that I'm looking towards and attaining, and obviously being part of this community, this greater community, has been a big factor in those goals, and really in making sure that I'm racing all the time, I'm in group rides, I'm doing something to keep myself active, because if not, I feel like as soon as I get away from all that, I know for a fact I would abandon Zwift and nothing will ever happen. And I'll just end up, health-wise, I'll end up back to where I was, 2 years ago. And that's just not where I want to be anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that's exactly what I've been doing in terms of when I get back in, I go, okay, what race series is on?
Yep.
So that I have to get on the bike. I can't go, I'll just do a ride in 2 hours. It's like, okay, my race is starting now. I have to get on the bike. So yeah, that's what I do. I don't do structured training if I have to get back on the bike, because it's so easy to go and I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, it was the best advice I ever got from Rob in a comment. Because I had commented on one of his races. I was like, man, I can't, like, if you ever watch Rob race, he'll be doing 600 watts and talking like he's not moving his legs at all.
I'm not cheating, by the way.
I know. One of the first videos that I ever saw of you, I commented, I was like, man, how, like, you're doing 400 watts and just talking, laughing, like it's nothing's going on. You were like,
I used to be fit. I used to be good.
And if I remember correctly, your response to me was, that'll happen after about 900 races.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's got a great point. You got to put in the work.
Yeah. It's like, do it a lot and it, becomes normal, doesn't it? If you do anything a lot of times, it becomes normal. And, I could not understand, when I used to watch Nathan and Lucky, I was like, how can they talk whilst they're racing? That's just insane. Honestly, I just couldn't believe it. Like, how you can do that. And then you do it and, you can. And you do it again and it becomes easier. Oh, I had something interesting to say. Isn't that unfortunate that I had something interesting to say and I forgot about it? Michael Harron said something interesting, I think. The consistency thing. Yeah, that makes such a big difference. Like when I'm still on the streak of doing every single Z racing.
Z-racing,
and I almost, organized my life around it. Of like, let's plan our holiday so that I can do let's plan our holiday.
Lots of conversations with my wife of like, I got this race coming up, so are we doing anything this weekend? Yeah. What's happening? Like,
could we
arrange
our holiday from a Tuesday to a Sunday or a Saturday rather?
That's what I was talking about on my stream, is that when I got really fit, I got stressed. I was like, I was supposed to do a 2-hour ride today and I can't do it. And like, I get stressed and I can't do it. It's like, well, I don't know why I'm getting stressed. I could ride tomorrow, but it's that, you get this whole...
You have got to have the balance though, haven't you? You want a bit of stress to do it. You want some pressure to do it, because it is so easy to fall back out, especially if you're not, if you're in the rhythm like I used to be of, where I didn't have to go into London. I could just hop on any time, pretty much. There was no pressure to ride. I was just enjoying it, and that's when I got my fittest. I was just, I was loving it, winning races, Cat B, Cat C, whatever, and just winning, and loving it. So it's easy then, isn't it? It's easy when you're absolutely loving it and you're fit, but when you're getting back into it and you're oh God, I hurts today, or I don't really, I've been at work for 15 hours. It's easy then. It's easy then to say I don't really have to go on the bike for an hour if I've been up at 3 a.m. and I'm back at 7.
Or you only have one set of bike shorts and two t-shirts to ride in, and they're both dirty.
I had that yesterday. I was like, I'm streaming in half an hour and my clothes aren't dry.
How quickly can I wash this stuff?
But talking about consistency, like I like to talk about how setting a goal, like I'm going to do this big event, I'm going to ride a 300-kilometer ride, I'm going to train for it and get super fit for it. That kind of leads to setting yourself up for failure in terms of once you do that event, you lose all the motivation to continue your training. Whereas if you go, okay, I'm just going to get on the bike every day, do 20 minutes riding around with Coco. And eventually that builds up and builds up. And then you can go and do that 300-kilometer ride because you're fit enough to ride any ride that anyone suggests to you, just because you build a habit of actually training, like riding to work, riding back from work if you have to. And I think those are the people that I know who keep riding and keep fit the longest, whereas the people who go, okay, this is my goal, tend to fall out of love with it because they get up in the morning and go, I don't feel like riding, but I've got to do this because I've got to get fitter for this event.
Yeah,
So that's one of
I
the
used to race every morning. It's sort of similar in that I used to race every morning. Not every morning, but most mornings I used to race like 6:10 race or something. And now that I'm in an advanced category, I'm like, A, they're not every day, so there's not a 6:10 race every day, and B, I could get up and get thrashed, but I'm gonna get thrashed.
You're also going up against the firing squad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and it's just the
Like how that
motivation
Jason Osborne
to
is there
be,
again.
yeah, you know, it's just not as motivating to know that I'm going to get thrashed, especially if there's a hill. I'm going to be on my own. I'm like, do I really want to do that? You know,
Yep.
it's tricky.
yeah.
But
It does.
I should
Yeah.
learn to have fun out other ways. I should learn to, do a pace partner ride or whatever. Now that I'm feeling better.
To
But
your
I
to
tell you
your
one
point,
thing
Ben.
about goals is that I'm a massive believer, and I always have been for when I was a runner and whatever. If you're coming back from, you get these guys who are 50-year-old and like, oh, I'm getting back into running or whatever, but I'll never beat my marathon time of 2:55, and you're like, no, you won't, no, you won't. You're 55 years old, so just forget about your personal best. Just resetting your personal best. I think is a massive thing. Saying, forget that. My personal best is, I'm resetting them. I'm just resetting my personal best, and forget about what I could do when I was 25, or even what you could do 2 years ago. If you've had a big injury, just say, right, my new personal bests are from now.
Yeah. Yep.
That's.
And
I wish my power curve on Zwift would reset.
I would be nice
Because I look at
if
my
we could clear the. God.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was going to say to your point, Ben. One of the best phrases or mantras that I've ever heard is it says strong convictions loosely held. So when you're setting goals, so in I think October of last year, I set a goal down to get to I think it's close to like 70 kilograms or something like that. Super super outrageous goal in about a 30-ish day time frame. And I was 80, I think 89 kilograms at the time. I didn't get anywhere near that. But my mindset going into that, with the idea of strong convictions loosely held, was that it didn't matter if I hit my goal as long as I was pointing towards it at the end of the day. And so I ended up only losing like 5 kilograms in the 30 days, partly because it was over Christmas break, or not Christmas break, over Thanksgiving break, and that
Only
just
lost
killed
5
my momentum.
kilograms.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can lose. So when you use fasting and low carb properly, you can shed weight super quick, especially if you incorporate like lots of zone 2 and like so the way professional wrestler or like MMA fighters and boxers and stuff like that, they can lose 10 15 kilograms in a day in water weight and then put it back on. But
that's water.
But you have to know what you're doing. Most of it's going to be water weight, and that's why when I didn't hit my goal, I wasn't like, oh my God, I'll never do this again. It was just some of it's water weight, some of it wasn't water weight. I was still better than where I was. I met my goals. I performed well. I didn't sacrifice performance for just pure weight loss, or not even just pure weight loss, but just looking at the numbers on the scale. Because it wasn't, for me, it's gone away from just numbers to, do I feel good? Am I performing better? And as long as the numbers are getting lower and I'm performing better and feeling good, then I'm happy. The moment my performance starts taking a nosedive, I'll redo how I do things.
The other thing I wanted to mention was community as well. I really
Yeah,
think being part of a community when you're coming back, or even when you're out, if you can stay part of the community, stay interested, stay, so that you still feel you're part of it. So when you come back in, you're not, like, oh, I'm rubbish again. Everyone knows you're going to be rubbish. You're going to have ups and downs.
Yep.
No one,
100%.
Has anyone ever said, "Oh, you're rubbish now. You shouldn't have been off for 2 months with your heart rate problem. You should have kept going and maybe killed yourself. No one says that, does it? There's no Zwift community that goes,
Hopefully, no one says
how
that.
have you got
But
so
there are some
crap?
people that are brazen enough to say stuff on social media that I'm just like, man, I like, wow.
I'm just putting in the chat at the moment. There's that calendar that I was talking about. So if you're getting back into Zwift and you want to know what events you can do, this calendar that I put in the
Sorry, I
chat
forgot about that.
is
Ben.
actually
Ben,
yeah.
I'm
No, it's all
so
right.
sorry I forgot about it. I'm really.
It's all right.
I'd like to genuinely apologise to you and all of the followers of this community for not following that. And it hasn't appeared in the chat because it's a link, probably. Do you believe
Maybe
that?
I can. Do you want me to send it to you, perhaps? Or you got
Yeah,
it.
do you
I'll
think
send
I
it
can
again
post
to you,
it?
and you should be able to because
You've already sent me a link.
I can post links on my own YouTube, so I've just sent it to you again.
Okay, all right. Let's copy that and let's
So
send it in. See what
whilst
happens.
Rob's doing that, so it's a calendar. You go into it, you click into it, and you can look at the days and go, okay, what Zwift events that aren't the native Zwift calendar? So, like the Tuggos tour. There's a couple of other events which I've seen which are in different languages, so I never see it on Facebook and other groups because they're not in English. So it's a great tool.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can see, you can see all the different events that are going on.
FRR.
Because I didn't realize how many different series are going on until I went into that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I'm zoomed in too far.
Yeah, usually find out about the non-Zwift series through people's activity in the companion app. I'm like, oh, what race was that?
It's great that they've filtered out all the Zwift stuff, which would normally dominate the calendar.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry if you already said that. I was concentrating.
I'm going to put that in the Kaboom Discord as well. Yeah. I'll just put it in. I'll break your rules and just post it in some random chat.
Right, I've got one more thing to talk about, and then we can do the quiz, and then we'll be finished.
Yay.
Is that okay?
No one can discuss my fate. I've yet to do good at all on any quiz.
I haven't asked if
you want to do a punishment, right? I was going to not bring that up.
I'll do it.
Oh, nice one.
I'll do
Sorry,
it.
I forgot to ask if you were willing to do a punishment ride.
Can't be worse than all the random rides that I do for the recons.
I thought you'd be up for it. So they're making. I've got another thing to discuss after this. Actually, I'm sorry. Right, blimey, this is going to be a marathon. Right, so they're making changes to the advanced races, which affects me because I'm stupidly deemed as an advanced rider, even though I can't cycle at 3.2. Anyway, so they're gonna be. So advanced races currently anyone can join them, and mainly sandbaggers join them and just use it to reduce their scores. Oh no, I've got the quiz question wrong. I'm going to change the quiz. I think I've got to change the quiz. Have I?
Just tell us the answer to it, Rob. It might be easier.
Right. Okay. Right. So the main point is that people who don't have heart rate monitors are not allowed to enter. Zwift races. Zwift. Is it? Zwift
Hasn't that always been a requirement for all races?
For Zwift Power, but not. So now, you know how like if you do a tiny race, you got to go into the tiny race. It won't let you do it without a heart rate monitor. So it's going to be for all elite races now.
Yeah,
which
so you
actually...
Because we're moving away from Zwift Power, basically. A lot of races now, it doesn't say the official rule. It used to always say the official results are on Zwift Power. So you could discount the people who weren't on Zwift Power. But often most of them don't say that now. The official results are on Zwift.
Which makes sense because it's ZRS scores. You don't really go to Zwift Power to check your ZRS score anymore. But I'm one of the few people who thinks this is. I don't like heart rate monitors being required? Because tell me the last time someone looked at a heart rate of anyone in a race and went, "Oh, that looks a bit dodgy. We'll kick them out." Like it's Josh Harris in his latest video. He said, "Oh, this is my big effort, but there's a heart rate lag," and it shows like he's doing his sprint and the heart rate goes down. Then after his sprint, his heart rate goes up. And so what's the point of a heart rate monitor? Like there's this heart rate monitor is plus or minus 2%.
It's the most basic check, isn't it? Just to say that you've got a heart rate. But
how many people are sitting on the couch racing in elite races? It's like it's not a thing anymore. There's no one sitting with a salad spinner spinning on Zwift anymore. You can't do that.
It doesn't matter. And if you've got a heartbeat, it counts. It's not. Yeah, it's not that they're tracking against power and stuff like that. They just say, "Have you got a heartbeat?" That's all they're saying.
Yeah, that's right. You can have 0 heartbeats and it still be checked. Like as long as you got a heart rate monitor connected, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And like if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat this system. So this basically means that if you forget your heart rate monitor in the house and the race is starting, you're going to miss the race. Or if you get a disconnect, you get kicked out of the race because your heart rate monitor is no longer connected. So I actually really dislike this rule because it's from like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
it's too late now.
The only thing that I like about it is that it's moving in the right direction, that they want to do something.
Which I think we should probably segue, unless Miguel wants to talk about the heart rate monitor before we segue into the next few lines of that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I don't understand why people cheat on Zwift. Like that's, I don't know.
The main way people cheat is by weight doping, isn't it? And I understand it. I've heard people say it. People have been on this podcast and said it, that they just, keep the weight the same, or they use the average from the last 3 months. In other words, they get in weight and they don't want to increase it.
Aspirational weight.
It's the weight that they were and the weight that they think they will be and so on. And that's how people are, I think. They don't want to acknowledge that they've actually put on the weight. They just say, you know what I mean? They'll stick at the weight that they think they're going to be in a few weeks' time or something like that. But it's all cheating. It's all cheating.
Yeah, I could lose that. I could lose that 2 or 3 kilos if I needed to. So what's
yeah? I mean, 2 or 3 kilos, you can drop that in a day with no issues. But I think for me, it's the bodybuilder types that are like, "Oh, I'm 50 kilograms." Like, no, you're not.
Like, you see a picture of someone's Zwift power, and they're like, look at their face. You're like, "There's no way there's 70 kilograms."
Do you know?
I look like that.
I think I'm gonna. I'd love to start a series. I feel like I want to be more controversial. I want to start like exposing more cheats. Or like cheaters.
You know where to start. Robin, I just went through this.
I'd like to. I should start with the people who accuse people of cheating, who are not cheats, and
you just got to start a different channel and just black yourself out. Like,
why?
Why? Still aware.
If people are obviously cheating, then why should I stop?
You can do it if you want.
Especially if you're accusing someone of cheating, you should be pretty clean yourself. Is my view.
Yeah.
100%. Or at least active in racing.
Yeah. Anyway, another good thing that they're doing in this is that they're opening up the range, so they're increasing the range of the half of the second tier races to now include up to 725, and I'm 729.
More suffering.
Damn it! How can I be 729? I'm nearly dead if I ride a bike at all. I'd nearly die. I nearly have to die to finish a multi-category race on a flat race with everyone. I nearly have to kill myself, James Bailey. Nearly dead. You've got to kill me, James Bailey. It's your fault if I die.
At the moment, I'm doing the Tugos tour, and there's like 5 people in the race, and so if I come second, I gain like 20 points.
Oh my god!
I'm going to
just
be an
go
ACAT
up
right
and
by
up.
the end of the series.
Like a five. It's weird. Why? Nobody.
There's definitely something
I
wrong
don't
with
think
it.
anybody knows. I don't think anybody knows. Even like the PhD mathematicians on the Discord
No,
for
it's broken. Because
why why a
why would winning an event with
five
a
rider field
yeah
you get more points than winning a 81 rider field?
yeah yeah you win
What?
100 riders, it's like, oh, congratulations, here's your 2
2
points
points.
or whatever it is.
Oh, we said the same. 2 points. But it is that way. But if you win against
Yeah.
5, oh, he is
Yeah.
next Tadej Pogacar. You get 58 points for being. What the hell are they
Man.
playing at? How could it be so crap after all this time?
We've got to move on, Rob, because we'll talk for hours. But the biggest thing that I see for that
But
is
let's carry on.
is they're talking about how they're going to change a number of additional fairness measures we hope to add to advanced events over the coming year.
Right.
So that's yeah.
Yeah.
So who's got your thoughts about what those are going to
State
be?
in chat what would the measures be to get rid of the cheats? Basically, I think excluding people who have
Excluding former World Tour pros that just got off the World Tour a year ago.
no. I mean
But
they're fine.
that's my only gripe.
They're fine. Why do you disagree with that?
Because when you look at the average Zwifter, it's it's all of us who working class, where Zwifting is our passion on the side, or maybe our forefront, but it never became a realized dream. This is a guy who, ironically, through Zwift came up, realized his dream, did amazing, and then left the world tour and is now demolishing the field in Zwift again. And other
are you talking about a certain?
know exactly what I'm talking about. I think he's great. He's an incredible racer, an incredible rider. But I just think there should be like A plus plus. If you're a former World Tour pro, or even like what's her name, the triathlete, she is an incredible athlete and could
LCB.
dominate any day. But she is a legit pro, and like they should have their own category. But obviously, it'll be a category of one.
I'd much prefer racing with Lucy Charles Barkley than racing with 70-year-old who can do 6.8 or something.
70-year-old Pogacar.
Oh my god!
I love getting thrashed. I love getting thrashed. I love it. I love getting thrashed by people who are genuine. Honestly, to be beaten by Lucy Charles Barkley would be an honour. I honestly enjoy that. But to be beaten by Sticky Waters and Wade Dobers and
I can agree with that. Like, it is an honorable death is an honorable death.
I think because Thomas was talking about the fact they're going to bring dual verification in so that you can natively have duals in Zwift like you do with Training Peaks.
That would be nice.
That's an obvious one they're going to do. But the big elephant in the room is weight. And as the chat is saying, like, what maybe they can bring in a weight verification.
They're not going to
through something. But I don't think that. I don't see how they do that.
Just strip weight altogether and make it an in-game thing. Just like we're upgrading bikes, you upgrade your avatar.
My teammate would love it if they made everyone the same height, because he's 200 centimeters, and so he's got terrible draft.
But I mean,
terrible aerodynamics.
There's two things they could do with regards to weight, which would be pretty easy and I think fairly uncontroversial. You should be asked to enter your weight once a month for races, or before each race, just say, is your weight correct? What is your weight? Something like that. Just say, it's a key metric in the game, and I know all the discussion about people obsessing about the weights, but it's a fact that weight is a key
Yep.
metric in the game, and it should be correct. And the
Are
other
they
thing,
gonna make those questions where they ask the same question 10 times to try and get the correct answers? So they try and
well,
when
I
you
don't
do
know,
those
just
forms.
once a month, and there's people who haven't changed their weight for 5 years, who've clearly put on a lot of weight, who it's easy not to, to passively cheat and just not change it. And what was the other thing?
Make it like a password where after a certain time you've got to enter a new weight, and it can't be the same weight you had.
And then the other
Use that
thing
weight more
is
than 10 times. You gotta change it.
the weight changing more than 5 kilograms in a day or something like that.
It's actually one of the reasons why I hate it when people do those, like, not race events, but they're like, I've got to make my weight 10 kilograms more so that it can do the same watts per kilo as this group ride that I'm doing, or they drop it.
Yeah.
And so you look at their history and they're like 60 kilos, 90 kilos, 70 kilos, 110 kilos. And you're like, what the hell is this person doing? It doesn't give you any confidence that they're actually doing the right thing. Well, they probably are, but it just looks terrible on your Zwift power if you're constantly bouncing around. But I don't know what the weight's the hardest thing, because I can weigh myself in the morning and be 2 or 3 kilograms heavier when I weigh myself in the afternoon.
100%.
I mean,
I was literally asked to prove that recently by someone who isn't even an organizer of any of the races that I'm on. Asked me to prove my weight.
I hate those people.
Oh yeah. And I was like, my first response was like, how do you even know what I would weigh when you don't even know my camera specs? Because the camera sensor, lens, all that stuff is going to change the way I look on screen. But
Whitney said to me when I made a YouTube video, she's like, did you make your screen skinny on one of them? You look skinny. I was like, no, it's just I didn't do anything to it.
Oh my God. That's funny.
Because you're really fat, Ben. In real life.
You're using a filter to make yourself look better.
I was like, no, it's just I don't know, it's just the angle. And she's like, no, you made it, you've narrowed it down. I was like, no, I haven't.
Oh man, that's horrible.
That's funny.
I don't like your wife anymore.
That's funny.
Nice thing to say.
You should see some of the photos that her mother does. And I was like, you're gonna get your mum to stop using the filters. Have you seen that article of that Japanese guy? Getting very off topic. There's an article about a Japanese motorcycle racer. He used to filter and made himself look like a 20-year-old girl, and it went viral after they found out that it was actually a dude through the reflection of a mirror, because people are like, "This guy is fantastic." Like, so.
Oh my God. I might have to look
getting
that up later.
Completely off topic with weight is the camera. You can't use a camera to go, okay, that person is definitely this weight.
No. You'll never know. Yeah. Sensor size, glass, all that makes a difference. Lighting
and height. Like I can't see you 5'7" from this angle. We're all the same height.
Yep.
Right.
I can make myself smaller actually.
Oh, stop messing around. We're nearly done. Jesus. Right. So next weekend, actually the same night as the podcast. So I shouldn't really be advertising it, but it is the Cycling Esports UK Championships. I like the fact that it's the UK Championships as well. So it's including all of the aisles.
I don't think I've seen this for so long, because the last time I watched this was a certain YouTuber who doesn't YouTube anymore, I think, and won it. What was his name again?
Leave him alone.
I know. It was so unfair. Like it. So, I was rooting for him and he won, and then they took it away from him.
I can't remember his name now. I raced against him a while ago. Do you remember? I showed it on the podcast.
It was because it was Pritchard and
Pritchard had nothing to do with it, did he?
No, he didn't do it, but he used to stream all the time and he'd do videos with Pritchard.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Cameron Jeffers. That's
Cameron
it. Jeffers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did he spoil it for everyone? Oh, I've got my text files up. I didn't want that.
Well, no, I just
I've got
as
my
soon as I
text
see the
files up.
grunt. What are you looking at, Rob?
He's looking at that
My
video of the
Everyone's
racer,
screen capture that.
preparation for the podcast.
motorcycle racer.
Right. So yeah, next Friday, they're doing the UK Championships. So it used to be the GB, but then it is an official thing. And it's not even British, so maybe that's why they've gone for UK, to disassociate themselves from the British Championship. And if you want to know the difference between Great Britain and United Kingdom, I'm the man to ask. But let's not go to that. But yeah, so it's next Friday, 20 to 8, so you can still tune into ZWIFTY afterwards. Assumably the women will finish maybe a little after we start. Why do they always go for boring? I think this is a brilliant initiative. I'm really glad they're doing it. Damo is hosting it, and I don't know who Lead Out are. I don't think I've heard that name before. But Damo's doing it on ZMS, so that's awesome. So I thought I would volunteer to be the commentator for it. But they've got Nathan Guerrero and Alan Russell. So, no, they're fine. The colonists are doing our championship. They're doing it. They don't need me. They're doing it. They've got some.
They should have like an on-the-ground reporter.
Yeah. But
they'll cross over to you.
But I don't know how to feel about this. But yeah. Well, okay. The course. Why do they always have these things on boring courses? So they're doing it on out of Scotland route. It's like,
so it's not Muckle Yin. Is that the course you love, Muckle Yin?
Yeah, the Muckle Yin is far greater. I don't understand why you do the boring climbs up
They don't want the cigar.
The outside loop. They always do them on those ones.
They don't want the cigar.
What's wrong with going up the skirt? So everyone's going to do this Zwifting maneuver. Now, Nathan, I know Nathan Guerra knows that it's called the Zwifting maneuver. I know he knows, but he's never acknowledged it. He's never acknowledged it once that it's called the Zwifting maneuver. Occasionally he's hinted on it.
You're not going to get a commentating job. Hating on Nathan like that.
We'll spam the chat.
I know he knows. I know he knows it's called the Zwifting maneuver, and that is what will win this race, because it ends on the champion sprint after the thing. He'll talk about Kaminsky, but no one's going to win with the Kaminsky. No one's going to do that.
While we're on courses, I wonder if I'm the only one who thinks I'd love to have these races on the Crit City races, like Downtown Dolphin.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever had elite races actually on a crit course.
Yeah, I suppose the only problem there would be the potential of, someone being a satellite rider.
Yeah, but how exciting would that be when they get lap riders? I know when I'm racing on those courses, when the lap riders come around, or when, like, it
but you know what I mean? Like being a satellite rider by dropping behind a lap. That would be...
Yeah, but what would they do though?
Well, you'd break away a bit and they'd sprint away for a bit and you'd follow them for a bit and then you'd have a gap and you'd go away and win the race. And
isn't that what we want? We want attacks. We want people be going. We don't want just a pack sitting in and then waiting for the last 1 kilometre.
Do you know, Ben, I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but everyone thinks it's unfair. Everyone hates that. Everyone hates it. Like, oh, that's not fair. He's dropped behind a lap. People don't like
racing tactics.
Unfairness. I'd love it. I love it. I 100% love it. But people are like, no, we hate you. Burn you. We're going to burn your house down if you suggest that again. That's what they say.
Don't geolocate me. I live near.
How do we know where you live?
I live near Moorabbin
Now I have to move. That's it.
Yeah. So well done to them. And I think I know these people. Like Alice Lethbridge. I know.
Yeah, she's. Yeah, it's. Yeah.
Well,
let's not talk about that. She's one of those people who are constantly like Yeah, I'm not going to talk
They're,
about
they're
it.
doing a good thing
But
for
she
the
is a very
UK. Let's say that they're doing a good thing for the UK, and she's got name
Yep.
of the town of a place that I know in Canada, which assumedly is also a UK place. But yeah, great UK championships. We should have a UK champion, and we're going to. But they've let the like international riders come in as well, so it's going to be one of those where there's international riders as well as the UK riders, and then so you can come fifth in the race, and you'll be the UK champion if like non-UK riders beat you. So like James Barnes is in it and stuff like that.
So is it not in person?
No,
That's kind of disappointing because, yeah, I thought a lot of the series were going to in-person events again. That's
That'd be cool to see.
basically I know Australia do it like that, and they're better than us. They're better than us, but these people are doing it as volunteers, and they haven't got a budget for that kind of thing. And we
You're
should
starting
have.
to sound like WTRL.
We were
I'm not
once.
doing my Sunday
We were once a proud nation. A proud nation. We rode the seas. We're mastery over the lands, but now we're consigned to just ad hoc volunteers running a
Yes,
running
you
a
guys spread yourselves
ad
too
hoc.
thin.
You got a bake sale going to try and pay for it.
Right. This is the longest podcast ever. I warned you though. I did warn you before we started, so you can't say I didn't warn you. You didn't have to listen. You could have gone off and been with your family or wherever.
Yeah,
But
I got my toilet break scene. I was not lined up properly.
I need a toilet break as well. Miguel, have you got something you could talk about for 2 minutes?
For 2 minutes, I'm sure I can figure something out. Talk about
Because
We're really going for a toilet break. Because Faisal got the quiz.
My love for FRR, my love-hate relationship with FRR.
Right.
It is.
I don't know. Do you want?
And that's truly, that is
I'm
where
I'm
my...
gonna go. Ben, you stay for 2 minutes.
Okay.
That's where my lack of enjoyment of like the neutralized bikes came from. Is when I first started with FRR, I was like, why am I on the Zwift Carbon? Like, what's going on? Because the first race I did, I could swear that I was on my bike. The second race I did, I was like, why am I on the Zwift Carbon? Like, what's going on? And I went from, I felt good the first race to the second race. I was like, I can't move this thing. Like, why does it feel like I'm dragging a lead weight? Like, what happened? And it just became infinitely harder. And once I realized that the racing was standardized bike across the board, some races have drafts, some don't. Some races have power ups, some don't. I was like, it's like I put a lot of work into earning these bikes. I want to use the bikes that I got. Especially since my bike in real life is nothing like some of these bikes that I have in Zwift. I would love to have the Pinarello in real life, even with the orange and pink, which to me looks like the Dunkin' Donuts colors instead of the whatever colors they chose and why they chose it. But
I think there was an FRR event where he sent them up the Alp on TT bikes, like not even good TT bikes.
Yeah, we did an ITT. And it's like some of the races, like this past one, I going into it, I didn't think it was going to be as hard as it was, because the highest elevation we did was like 900 meters. We did a Royal Pump Room 8, 2 laps, a Royal Pump Room 8, which is hard on its own, but 2 laps of it, I was like, all right, 900 something meters, no big deal, not as bad as the one we did prior where we did the 4 horsemen with 2 extra climbs. And ended up I think somewhere north of 1,000 meters of elevation gain, which is probably my longest ride ever on a race. And, on top of that, doing the sprinting with the FRR racing just made it infinitely harder. But I hated the fact that I'm like, why the Zwift Carbon? Can we just use our own bikes? But no.
Yeah, I'd like to have it just neutralized bikes, not the... So at least you can look at your nice bike while you're riding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I'm telling you, with Zwift games, I love riding the BMX. So much fun. We just need we need side quest missions with the BMX or with with other bikes.
I want to paint my BMX like my BMX when I was a kid. I had a
That would
bright
be cool.
BMX with white tufts. I don't know if anyone knows what tufts are, but they're plastic wheels. But they looked the business back in the 80s. I was the worst. I was the worst BMX rider. I couldn't do a wheelie. My wheelie was like up for about a second, then fall to the side.
Yeah, I was like,
About how I am.
And
right,
the back
quiz
pain's
time,
whacking
everyone.
my ankles.
Quiz time.
All right.
Do you want to tell the
What's the pin? Nah, it's all right.
So the pin is 6703251. You can go to www.kahoot.it, or, as I prefer, you download the Kahoot ! App. And I realised that we have got we're going to have the hardcore of the hardcore who've been sticking with us for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Well, I think George said he just popped in.
It's Georg, by the way.
Who was?
I should have told you that ages ago. It's Georg, not George.
Georg. So Georg's just popped in and just in time.
Hey, Georg, how you doing, man? Right, so we've got...
The pin is expired. No, it's working, Dave. I got in.
Yeah, I had to refresh. The pin wasn't working,
okay.
but I had to refresh, so it's the new pin. Because we've been going on so fucking long.
Okay, remind me, I'm BMX Bandits. At the very unlikelihood that I actually win this, I'm BMX Bandits. Remind me at the end when I'm going, who's BMX Bandits?
Oh, I do like being relaxed. Do you know, I never once look at how many viewers we've got these videos. I just like chatting to people, and if people don't enjoy it, then they can watch somebody else. I don't care. Safety with this. Oh, Pete. I think that's Peter. TK. Happy light save. I think that's Michael. Do you think that's Michael? BMX
I think so.
Yeah, that's got to be him.
Oh, who's TT Mascot? Oh, I do know. Oh, he's a regular joiner. I don't. Oh, I can't remember.
Is this our new segment? Is guess who the
guess
names are?
just guess stuff about people. I'm just. Oh, that's quite a lot though. Good, quite a lot.
I'm pretty certain Christian. What's her name? Kristen Kulskins. I can't even say it. KK. Yeah, I think she's one of these ones watching. Just
yeah, I think so.
Just quietly.
Yeah. Right, I think we should start. But Miguel has kindly agreed to do the punishment ride should he not win. So if anyone wants to make suggestions as to what the punishment ride should be should he not win, then feel free.
I can already assure you I'll be doing the punishment ride.
Carbon bike ride.
No. Listen, I'm trying to get the first upgrade on the SL8. So please don't take me away from that.
You're doomed now. That's what it's going to be.
For my TTT, I joined the race like a minute before it started because I was like, I got to get in as many kilometers as I can on this SL8 before I have to switch to the TTT or TT bike.
Oh, it's.
I wonder how many people are going to miss it. I wonder how many people are going to miss races doing that because the game doesn't load quick enough.
Right, we're going to start. Starting the quiz.
Okay.
Here we go. Garage goings on. Right. What new types of bike did Zwift release this month? Was it Angel bikes, Halo bikes, Heaven bikes, or Saintly bikes? Though no one's got one, I assume. Even the most craziest of Zwifters. As I said, I think it's pretty easy until question 8. Halo bikes. Oh, someone went for Heaven bikes.
Don't forget to tell us the one that's wrong.
It's got tick mark by the one that's right. Do I have to vocalize it as well?
No, earlier you said there was a question that you got wrong on the notes that you're reading.
Yeah, I think it's. I think we clarified it. Okay. Pretty much. Uh,
I don't. I missed it if we
oh,
did.
Peter's taking the lead.
We'll find out.
Come on, Peter.
I was
Come
probably
on,
too
Peter.
busy
The
reading,
Peter,
highest
help,
reading
you'll see me
about.
on the
Peter
screen.
helped me out a lot with the podcast this week, so I'm all in for Peter. Come on, Peter. Right. How many big spin stages are there this year? 4, 5, 6, or 7?
Honestly, don't know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that easy, is it? I would have gone for 5, but it's actually 4.
I've done like 10, 15 rides. Does that count?
That's a confusing thing. Is you just do like multiple rides on this, so you kind of forget. It does it on the Zwift homepage, I'm sure.
Yeah, I thought there were 5. So, yeah, not that easy. But Peter knew, and Dave B knew too, and he's moved up. Oh, was Peter Downhill King rather than Safety with Disc? Oh, I think it's maybe Eric. Eric Safety with Disc, is he? I always thought maybe it was Eric Safety with Disc. Which bike is now considered the best racing all-rounder according to Zwift Insider? Is it the Canyon Air Road, Pinarello Dogma, S-Max Tarmac, SLA? Oh, everyone. Apart from one person who thought it was the Pinarello. Well done, everyone. Apart from one. So nothing changed basically there. Everyone got it pretty much. Right. Which monument of cycling has its first women's version tomorrow for 20 years? Is it Liège, Bastogne-Liège, Paris-Roubaix, Tour of Flanders, or Milano
I got that
San
wrong.
Remo?
I
Yeah,
got that
I
one
said
wrong,
this was
for
easy,
sure.
but it's only easy if you know it. That's
I don't
just
know.
a
Should know
great
this because
monument, by
that's
the way.
the theme that I planned my long ride for this weekend was around that race.
Did you get
I
it?
got
or
it
not?
right only because of a guess of slightly educated.
Yeah, I've been doing loads of preparation for a rehearsal of a cycling channel that I hope to launch at some point in the future. So I knew it. So
No.
it's not that easy. I'm
Heard
sure.
it here first.
I wouldn't have known it last year. I would not have known it last year. Do you have any opinions on who might win it? Any thoughts? Do you either of you follow that kind of thing?
I haven't followed it this year at all, so
Okay.
I don't know who's in form.
The main staples are saying that Pogacar, obviously he's the favorite, but apparently this is not his like style race, so it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah, I'd go with.
I feel like he's gonna win it and win it by, some insane margin just to kind of shut everyone up.
But I mean, it would be. It's so incredibly hard to get away from people like a long.
I can probably
winter.
guess that it's going to be the fastest edition of it, as it has been.
Well, I mean, even that, it's so wind dependent and stuff like that because they go easy. It's so flat. There's just no point. There's just no point in going fast. Anyway, Dave B's taking the lead. Oh, Dave B. Blimey, I wasn't expecting that. Come on, Dave. But I do want Peter to win. What is Miguel's favourite steak? Is it fillet, ribeye, tomahawk, or sirloin? We have covered it on the podcast. And almost everyone...
About 4 hours
knew.
ago.
Yeah. If your memory is good enough. If you're both listening and your memory is good enough.
Or you've gone to work and come back.
Dave B keeps his lead, though. Oh, blimey. It's close at the top, though. There's definitely a 3-man breakaway at the top. 3-man breakaway. Who's going to,
Always.
Safety with this, sitting at the back. Probably quite wise at this stage. Getting the draft. The lead 2. Which manufacturer's Halo bike is this? Is it Specialized, Pinarello, Cannondale, or Zwift?
What in the world?
It's the...
Oh, cool. Got it right.
Yeah. So the Specialized was the 1974 one. The Pinarello was the Big Mig one. And Zwift, I don't think we've seen it, what it'll look like. I assume it'll just look the same.
Isn't that just the Tron?
The Tron Plus.
Oh, actually, there isn't a Zwift Halo bike. There isn't a Zwift Halo bike as such. Peter's taking the lead. Peter's got into the lead. Good man, Peter.
It's a few lead changes.
Yeah. Who rode a bike a bit like this? Is it Armstrong, Merckx, Boonen, or Indurain?
Imagine Eddie Merckx riding that.
I sort of
Imagine the looks he'd get.
I sort of nearly gave the answer there. But yeah, it was Miguel Indurain. Right, I think the next two questions are double points. Certainly the last one is. I can't remember whether I've put the... Oh, Dave is keeping right up on Peter's tail. Oh, this is neck and neck stuff. But
got to be quick on the trigger.
safety with
not
this
too quick.
is pretty close, though. Who could no longer take part in advanced races from April? Sandbaggers, weight dopers, sticky runners, or no heart rate monitors?
How quick were people on the trigger on that one?
Yep.
I did kind of imply that sandbaggers could no longer take part, but
you led someone down the garden path, or
yeah, I did. I kind of apologise for that,
unsubscribe.
but we did sort of. I've had more unsubscribes than subscribes over the last month. First time for a long time. I've lost subscribers. Normally people love it when I don't post videos. When I don't post videos, it's like people love it when I don't post videos.
People are like, I'm gonna reward you for not cluttering my feed.
That's funny.
Normally, that's when it genuinely is when I've got my most subscribers, when I haven't posted any videos. Oh, I love that. I love it when he doesn't post anything. But now that I'm ill, it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna die soon, so I'm not gonna subscribe to this guy. He's virtually on his last legs.
He's not going to be around. What's the point of having a like and subscribe bell? His bell's not going to ring anymore.
Oh, Dave got it wrong. Dave. What was the question? I can't remember the question.
That was 10 minutes ago. It was about whether you did a heart rate monitor or sandbagging or...
Dave was the one. Oh, I feel terrible now. I did try and clarify, Dave. Don't blame me. I did clarify. Right. Is this the last question? No, there's two more. Right, question 9. Oh, it's double points, though. It could come back. Anyone could come back. Which Zwift Games 2025 profile is this? Zwift Games 25 Queen, Scotland Smash, London Uprising, or Downtown Eruption? And I apologise for the tiny little picture. That is tiny, isn't it?
Sorry. 8th place on that stage.
It is the Zwift Games 25 Queen stage.
Best race I ever had on that stage.
Miguel,
really?
You overtook me. You overtook me in that one.
How do you know?
Oh, were we in the same race?
No, I meant in the
the actual race.
That's
Are you two are you in the same category? You run on that level?
I don't know.
On range 1, I think.
What's range 1?
Right.
Because I hate the range 1, range 2 thing. But
so you're a B.
Range 1 I do way better. No, I'm still in the C pace group, but range 1 I'll probably stay in the top 10 the next handful of races. But range 2 I suffer.
What? So all of the
because range 2 goes up into 450. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I thought it was just B's, but obviously
my ZRS is 440 at the moment.
Oh, yeah, you're way up there.
We've taken the tension away from the quiz altogether.
Yeah.
Though Peter is winning by a fair amount. Though the last question is bloody hard. It's bloody hard, honestly. So if you go early, you might just get it because it's not easy. It's not easy, this one at all. I feel terrible about how hard it is.
It's double points, isn't it?
I feel like
it's double points, and it's a route reveal.
Okay.
of a Neokio-based course.
Oh god.
So all of them are Neokio-based courses, which are fairly similar in many respects. But, you know,
Downtown Dolphin.
I nearly put Downtown Dolphin as one of the answers, but I made it even harder by making them all Neokio-based answers. So it's bloody hard. Good luck,
Yeah.
all. Here we go. Which route is this? Is it Twilight Harbour,
I just clicked it
Sprinters
already.
Playground, Neokio All-Nighter, or Neokio Creek Course?
I've already clicked it straight
The
away.
crucial bit of information has been revealed.
I've gone all in. I've done
I have no clue.
the 1 kilometer. Oh, I got it wrong. No, what a surprise!
Time it out.
Well, I think that is extremely impressive how many people got it right. So Neokio All-Nighter is the only one that contains the rooftop climb. So people spotted that, I think. So well done
Probably.
to you. But let's reveal who and who did not get it right. And who triumphed. And who failed at the last. TT Mascot, well done, Steph. On the podium, Dave B came back to get second.
Up.
And first place is Downhill King.
Yay.
Congratulations, Peter. Well done.
10,000 points, man.
Wow. Yeah, quite a convincing win. In the end, got a little group together and then sprinted off at the end, which is how I think that Jesper Philipson will win tomorrow. If he's fit, because he did have a bit of a fall. Right, that is it for the podcast. I'm slightly apologetic for it going on so long, but not really, because I kind of enjoyed it. And if you didn't, then get lost. Go do something else.
Yeah, we can we send out an SL8 to the winner? Send it in the post.
Yeah.
It has a battery in it, so we're not allowed to. You have to be
I was
in the
going
UK.
to send an SL8 out to him, but the DI8, what are they called? DI8?
DI2.
DI2, whatever, yeah.
It's got a DI2 battery in it.
Yeah, shame about that. Okay, thanks all. I think I'll be back next week. I like doing this podcast. I quite enjoy it. And it doesn't seem to get my heart going crazy. So
You definitely got to wear a heart rate monitor next week.
let's
get that up.
We'll make that a requirement for the chat.
Yeah.
Everybody post.
Yeah,
and you're getting your Holter monitor done, 24-hour one soon. So which day are you getting that done?
On Tuesday, I believe, the 25th. Okay. So let's see what it looks like. I don't know if I get to see the output or not. But yeah, it's felt fine. It's felt fine lately. So yeah, I'll be racing tomorrow, hopefully. Or I might just do a pace partner ride and try to rack up some miles towards those upgrades.
Yep.
And don't do the mistake of using the SL8 and going up the Alp like my teammate did the other day, because it's not a climbing bike. So you do like you're wasting time instead of sitting with a pace partner and getting like 40 kilometers in, going up the Alp.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If anyone wants to stay on for another 5 hours, I'll be here. No.
Maybe we should do like a monthly 5 hours. We'll get like 4 guests on
the stream.
Okay, let's end it. Okay, thanks Miguel, thanks Ben. That was awesome. Really enjoyed it. Awesome. Cheerio. Bye.
Good having you, Miguel.
It's been great talking to you guys.
Oh, thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for getting the podcast organised again. It's been a few weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah. All right.
Stay on, Miguel. But bye to the internet. Bye.
We're going to talk about you viewers.
Yeah. Don't we? They're horrible, aren't they? Oh, no. So we haven't stopped streaming.